Good afternoon. I'm Jean-Laurent Rosenthal, the chair of the Division of Humanities and Social Sciences. It's my honor to welcome you to the second Plus Caltech Plus Finance event, and thank you all for coming. Our first event in 2015, organized by Richard Roll, featured alumni from the Institute who have been pioneers in the field, Robert Barrow, Robert Merton, and Steve Ross. The second event is quite different. It showcases two important purposes of the Ron and Maxine Linde Institute of Economics and Management Sciences. First, to engage with intellectual leaders in finance. This year, our keynote lecture will be by Nick Barbaras. And second, to expose our friends to some of the exciting work that is happening with current faculty in the Linde Institute. If you'll bear with my historian's bent for a minute, let me bring you back to January 2011, when the Linde Institute was established. Ron and Maxine Linde had been considering two investments at Caltech, one in climate science and one in business economics. Caltech, true to its scientific mission, opted for the climate science, and we have the Linde Institute Center for Climate Science, which is in the Lynn Robinson building. But the Lindes understood well the need for Caltech to make a signal investments in the areas of business economics and finance. Ron and Maxine further thought that it would be most beneficial for HSS to become more engaged with the rest of campus and for all scientists to have access to some form of business expertise. So they did both, and here we are. And that is the kind of generosity that our sponsors have displayed time and again at Caltech. For the next few years, the Linde Institute developed three thrusts that are well represented in the coming presentations. First, we built a finance faculty with the hiring of Richard Roll, Michael Evans, and Lawrence Jin. And that would not have been possible without the Linde Institute. Both Michael and Lawrence will share some of their work with you today. Second, we developed new courses and programs for undergraduates around entrepreneurship. And finally, the Linde Institute supports a rich collaboration that it took over from a center in information sciences that was started with a grant from the Moore Foundation many years ago, which brings together computer scientists and economists in the Center for Social Information Science. It involves scholars that work at the boundary between the two disciplines and use that fundamental work in economics, on the economics of information, to help solve some very thorny practical problems. And Federico Echenique, who will be our first speaker, will speak about that. So much for history. To the present. For our first presentation is by Federico Echenique. He is the Allen and Lenda Bell Davis Professor of Economics. He is also the anchor of the Economic Theory Group at Caltech. He has been the co-director of CSIS for the past 5 years with Adam Weirman in computer science. He works on fundamental questions involving testable implications of theories. Some have rather fewer testable implications than we'd thought. This includes work on individual preferences and market structure. He also works on matching markets, and the range of this work runs from pure theory to direct policy interventions, and he will talk about an old problem made new: markets for centralized allocation problems, fairness and efficiency, and property rights. So Federico, tell us how to allocate and reallocate.